I ran to the hospital to see my son in intensive care. The nurse whispered, "Hide and trust me." I froze behind the door, shaking. Then Mom texted, "Send $2,000. Your sister's daughter turned 16. That's more important." I thought that was the worst part. But a minute later, what I saw made my blood run cold. My name's Kirsten. I'm 33, a single mom, the one who remembers everyone's birthdays and pays the boring bills on time. People at work call me steady. My son Finn is 13 and taller than me by a hair. I keep his permission slips in a folder with a shark sticker because he hates sharks and it makes him laugh. That's my life. Small systems to keep chaos out. Until the call. "Ma'am, this is St. Luke's. Your son's been brought in. He's stable, but..." I don't remember the rest. Only keys, a red light I ran, and my heart punching my ribs. The ER smelled like bleach and old coffee. Fluorescence buzzed. I said, "Kirsten Kane, I'm his mother." So many times the words stopped sounding human. A nurse with tired eyes and a meat bun met me at the double doors. "He's in intensive care," she said softly. "Bike accident. Helmet saved him. He's sedated." My throat closed. He's here," she said. "That's the fact we hold." She led me down a too-bright corridor to a small glass room. Machines hummed. Finn looked small again, like when he still called me Mama. Tubes, tape, a bruise blooming under his cheekbone. I put my palm on the cool railing and felt my legs shake like I'd run a marathon, not a hallway. Outside, footsteps. Voices too loud for this space. I heard my mother before I saw her. "Kirsten," she snapped in that brittle tone that meant I'd already failed at something. "You made us drive across town for this. Why didn't you keep a better eye on him?" The nurse's hand brushed my arm. Her voice dropped to a whisper, fast and urgent. "Hide and trust me." She nudged the supply closet door ajar with her hip. "Just for a minute, please." I froze. The instinct to defend myself, to argue, to be steady, fought the instant animal fear that my presence would start a storm right next to my sleeping child. I slid behind the door. The disinfectant smell was sharp. Through the crack, I saw my mother's arms folded, my sister Dana behind her, thumbs flying on her phone. They were already shaking their heads. Unbelievable. Always drama with you. The nurse stepped into their path, calm as a stone in a river. "He needs quiet," she said. "All of you do. Take a breath." I did, but it came out like a shiver. I pressed my back to the shelves and stared at the blue box of gloves at eye level, counting sizes. Small, medium, large. Anything to keep from crying loud enough to wake my son. I thought that would be the worst part. It wasn't. A minute later, everything cracked wider. You don't grow up in my family, you survive it. You learn the script. Mom's line, "You owe us." Dana's line, "Just help, you're better with money." My line, "Sure, I can make it work." I've made it work since I was 19. 2 jobs, then a third after Finn's dad ghosted. I paid my own community college, then finished online. I covered Dana's temporary move-in that lasted 11 months, plus her parking tickets because they'll tow my car, Chris. I took Mom to her appointments and paid off her dental work when the card was declined. I sent little Zelle transfers labeled groceries, so she'd pretend it was for food and not her boyfriend's football bets. No one asked how. They just praised Dana's creative spirit and said I was so practical, like that was a character flaw. I kept receipts in a spreadsheet only I see. Rent I covered for Mom when her landlord got fed up, $900 times 3. Dana's refundable security deposit that never returned because she broke the lease and, according to her, doors are fragile these days. Bus tickets, textbooks, the exact amount for a bail bond I don't say out loud. I didn't keep score for revenge. I didn't, so when I started to feel crazy, I could prove to myself that I wasn't. Finn and I built a small life that worked. Hand-me-down couch, a fridge whiteboard with a shopping list that always included eggs, apples, and the cheap pasta he likes with butter and too much pepper. I promised him a summer road trip if I could swing the overtime. He promised to stop leaving socks in the living room and lasted 3 days. So when the accident happened, the first person I texted was not my mother. It was our neighbor Ed, who fed our cat. Then my boss, who replied, "Go, don't worry about anything here." I didn't want the family whirlwind in a place with machines and rules, and nurses who said soft things like, "That's the fact we hold." But they came anyway. Word travels in our clan faster than common sense. I stepped out of the supply closet when the nurse gave me a tiny nod. Mom looked me up and down like my shoes offended her. Dana snapped her gum. Unbelievable. Always drama with you. The nurse stepped into their path, calm as a stone in a river. "He needs quiet," she said. "All of you do. Take a breath." I did, but it came out like a shiver. I tried to anchor her steadiness. "Quiet, sure, but we also need information, and while we're here—" "Mom," I said, "not now." She rolled her eyes. "Here comes the attitude." Sasha's hand landed on my shoulder, warm. "You can sit with him one at a time. 3 minutes." She glanced at my mother. "You'll wait." Mom hates waiting, but she likes rules when they let her perform martyrdom. She huffed into a chair and started scrolling with furious dignity. I sat at Finn's bedside and counted the rise and fall of his chest. My chest matched his rhythm until my phone buzzed. Mom, of course. I didn't look. Another buzz. Dana. Then Mom again. I finally checked because my brain is a dog to the bell. "Mom, where's your wallet?" "Mom, you can't be here the whole night. You have responsibilities." "Dana, you coming through for me later, right? We talked about it." Then the one that honestly made my head tilt like a broken toy. "Mom, send $2,000. Dana's daughter turned 16. That's more important." My mouth actually opened. I stared at the screen like if I looked long enough, the words would rearrange into a joke. They didn't. $2,000. For a party. While my kid lay in ICU with tape on his face? I didn't answer. I set my phone face down and tucked my fingers under the blanket near Finn's hand, careful not to touch a single wire. I breathed in the beeping room. I told myself I'd respond later, with a calm that would make me proud. I lasted 8 minutes. Another message blinked across the screen from Mom. Then a call. Then the family group chat waking from its dead, judgmental sleep. Aunt Rose. "We all have to pitch in. Don't be selfish." Uncle Jay. "Girls' Sweet 16 is once in a lifetime. Hospitals happen all the time." Dana. "See? Everyone knows. You got this, sis." Sasha caught my eye, reading my face like a nurse reads a monitor. She didn't say, "Ignore them." She said, "You don't have to answer right now," which is the only sentence that felt like oxygen in a space full of other people's demands. The chat blew up anyway. Thumbs, side comments, a screenshot of a cake with sparklers. I watched it scroll and felt that cold, familiar click inside me. The one that says, "Here we go again." The one that says, "They're going to make you choose, and they expect you to choose wrong." I didn't know yet that they'd take more than money if I let them. I didn't know about the thing in the next message that would make my blood run cold. I only knew I was done being the quiet one who made everything easy. It happened in the cafeteria because disasters love fluorescent lighting and lukewarm coffee. Sasha had insisted I eat something. I took a banana, sat by the window, and watched rain start to prick the glass. The group chat pinged nonstop. Then Mom called, and I answered because avoiding her only makes her louder. She didn't bother with hello. "You're transferring the money now," she said. 2,000. Dana's already put down deposits." "Mom," I said, "my son is in intensive care." "Don't be dramatic. He's sleeping." Her voice went sugary. "Sweet 16 is a milestone. Family shows up. You know this." Dana jumped in on speaker. "The DJ needs confirmation by 5. Don't screw me on this." I stared at my banana like it could teach me a better life. "I have covered your rent, your classes, your fines. I paid Mom's dental bill. I sent money when your phone fell in the toilet 3 times. I am at a hospital right now." Mom's voice shifted to the weaponized sigh. "Here we go with the ledger. You love to throw things in our faces." "I have screenshots,"
I said before I could stop myself. Transfers, texts where you said you'd pay me back, dates, amounts. Silence. Then the three-family chorus I know too well. Aggression, Dana. So you're flexing? Cute. Manipulation, Mom. What will people think of us if the party's ruined? Humiliation, Aunt Rose in the chat. Kristen, you've always been stingy. My ears rang. I opened my spreadsheet on my phone. I took pictures of the totals and dropped them in the chat. $12,420 over 5 years. Labels, receipts, a note. I am not a bank. I typed with the same fingers that tucked Finn in at night. I'm done. The chat exploded. How dare you? You made us look bad. Money comes and goes. Family is forever. I felt something inside me stop wobbling. It set. It clicked into place like a door finally locked. I stood up, threw the untouched banana away, and walked back upstairs. Sasha saw my face and, without asking, handed me a cup of water. You made a choice, she said. I made a boundary, I whispered. Sometimes same thing, she said, and smiled like she knew it would hurt and be worth it. News spreads in my family like grease fire. You think you can clap a lid on it? Suddenly, it's in the curtains. By the time I reached Finn's room, my phone looked like a slot machine. 37 missed calls. The group chat had devolved into cousins weighing in like judges at a fake trial. Cousin Ella, it's just money. Uncle Jay, if you were a decent daughter, we wouldn't be here. Mom, you embarrassed me in front of everyone. I turned the phone off. That tiny act felt obscene and holy, like putting a church into my own pocket and shutting the doors. The next hours were only us. Finn's breathing, the soft swish of the blood pressure cuff, Sasha's reminders to drink water. When Finn stirred, I put my hand near his again, and his fingers twitched like they were trying to remember a handshake. I whispered, "I'm here," until my voice went hoarse. Between vitals, reality crept back in. Bills, work, cat feeding, the car meter. My brain tried to sprint to all of it. Sasha tapped the edge of my chart with her pen, a calm metronome. "One thing at a time," she said. "You can't do 5 things for anyone if you're not standing on your own 2 feet." I nodded, because no one in my family had ever granted me that sentence. Around midnight, I stepped into the hall for air. Dana was waiting with a paper cup of coffee and an expression like she'd practiced it in a mirror, contrite, but only on the surface. "Look," she said, "I didn't mean to sound harsh. It's just, this party matters. Mia's been through, you know." She waved a vague hand at the sky, at vibes, at any convenient past hardship. "I looked at your sedated kid and asked me for $2,000. She flinched, then tried a smile. "We're family. Family helps." I stared at her scarf, white knit, a snag near the shoulder, something ordinary to keep me from screaming. "I helped," I said, "for years. And you called me stingy." "That was Aunt Rose," she said quickly. "You know how she is." "No, I know how we are. We take from the person who doesn't say no." She switched tactics. "Okay, fine. Not 2,000. 1,000. I'll pay you back next month." I laughed, small and ugly. "I have a spreadsheet that says you won't." Her eyes went flat. "Wow, you're really enjoying this." "Enjoying what? Not being robbed in a hospital?" That's when Mom came around the corner like a weather front. Perfume, hard heels, that face she saves for when she wants to sell a story. "Kirsten, you owe your sister. She covered you when Finn was born, remember? She brought you soup." "Soup," I repeated. "We're counting soup now?" Her mouth tightened. "This attitude is why no one invites you places anymore. You create scenes." "Mom," I said, almost gentle, because I was tired, "I didn't create a scene. I sent screenshots." She lifted her chin. "You humiliated me." I wanted to say, you humiliated yourself when you asked for party money next to a ventilator. I wanted to say, I stopped being your golden card 5 minutes ago, and now you don't know who you are. I wanted to say a lot. Instead, I said, I'm going back to my son. She followed to the door. Sasha appeared like she'd been summoned by the exact decibel of my mother's voice. ICU is quiet hours, she said pleasantly. You can wait down the hall. We're family, Mom snapped. Sasha didn't blink. And he is a patient. You can support him by respecting his mother. I could have kissed her shoes. When morning came, the text had changed tone. Less thunder, more guilt drizzle. Mom, if this party falls apart, it's on you. Dana, Mia will remember this forever. Aunt Rose, we're praying for Finn, of course, but priorities, dear. I turned the phone on only to block numbers. I left the group chat. Immediately, messages spilled into my individual thread like ants rerouting around a dropped crumb. I blocked those too. Small flames, small reliefs. Ed sent a photo of our cat sitting like a loaf on the windowsill. My boss emailed, approved, emergency leave. Take what you need. A nurse from night shift tucked an extra blanket around me while I dozed in a chair. Strangers were kind, where family was cruel. By afternoon, Finn opened his eyes for real. Just a sliver, just long enough to register me. Hey, Bean, I whispered. He made a sound like a question. I told him a boring story about the vending machine granola bar that tasted like cinnamon cardboard. His lip twitched. We were going to be okay. Not immediately, not magically, but okay like bricks set back in a wall.
When I finally checked my bank app, my stomach did its old spin. A pending Zelle request from Dana. Not for $2,000, for $3,500. The note? Venue once more, you'll get it. My blood went cold in a way I recognized too well. The body remembering a pattern. The audacity was a language I was fluent in. I declined. Then I called my bank and set a hard transfer limit, removed linked contacts, changed passwords, added alerts. I closed the credit card I once stupidly let Mom borrow for emergencies and paid the balance with money that could have been for tires and school clothes. It hurt. I did it anyway. Evening, a new number called. I answered, expecting more performance. It was Mia, 16 in 2 days. Sweet, breathy voice that always sounded like a secret. Aunt Chris, Mom's crying. She says you hate us. I closed my eyes because none of this was her fault. I don't hate you, I said carefully. I can't fund a party from a hospital. A long pause. Is Finn okay? He will be, I said. Something unclenched in my chest. Hey, if you want, when he's out, we can do burgers and a movie. My treat. No sparklers, just us. She whispered, okay, like an apology. I'm sorry my mom's being... My mom? We hung up. I sat in the corridor and cried into my sleeve so I wouldn't wake any child on that floor. 2 days later, a cousin sent me a video I didn't ask for. Dana's party. Dim lights, a cake like a chandelier, teenagers screaming lyrics I couldn't catch, Mom in the background, laughing, beautiful and hollow. The caption, we pulled it off. I should have felt rage. Instead, I felt distance. Like I'd stepped off a moving carousel and watched it spin away. All the painted horses grinning, no one noticing I was gone. That night, I typed an email to my family address list. 3 sentences. I love my son more than the performance of family. I will no longer give or lend money. If you speak to me, keep it kind or keep it moving. Send. I expected a war back. What I got was quieter. A few unsubscribes, a few all-caps prayers, and then nothing. The kind of nothing that clears a space around you so you can breathe your own air for the first time. Finn came home with a scar he shows off like a medal and a helmet he actually wears without me asking twice. Our small life resumed. Socks in the living room, eggs, apples, cheap pasta. We added new things to the whiteboard. PT appointments, library due dates, a doodle from the nurse who slipped us extra pudding cups for bravery. Sometimes at night, my brain tries to replay the hospital, to bait me back into the old game. What I should have said, what I should have done. Then I hear Sasha's voice like a metronome, one thing at a time. I breathe. I count. I stand on my own 2 feet. Mom tried twice more. We're family. We don't give up on people. I wanted to say, then why'd you give up on me when I asked for quiet next to my hurt child? I didn't. I just repeated the boundary until it wasn't a fight, it was a closed door. Dana posted pictures from Mia's party with a caption about showing up for your people. I scrolled past and texted Mia a meme about a cat in a hoodie. She sent back a crying, laughing emoji and a photo of her homework. Quiet connections. No sparklers. That's enough. At work, my boss asked if I needed more time. I said, I think we're okay. Meaning I am not carrying 3 adults on my back anymore. Meaning the money I earn buys groceries and peace, not approval. I started putting $50 a week into a road trip envelope. Finn and I picked a map pin, a state park with a waterfall. He said, we'll bring snacks that aren't healthy. I said, deal. The moral, if there has to be one, is simple enough to fit on a sticky note. I am not a bank. I am not a stage for other people's performances. I am my kid's mother. I am my own person. I thought the worst part would be the cold feeling when I saw that request pop up in a hospital. It wasn't. The worst part was realizing how long I'd trained them to treat me like a wallet with a pulse. The best part was stopping. I don't owe them my ruin to prove I love them. I don't owe them quiet when their voices are knives. I owe my son's safety, and myself honesty. So here it is, spoken out loud so it sticks. I am done being used. And when the carousel circles back, all glitter and need, I'll still be here, on solid ground, holding my boy's hand, walking toward the waterfall with snacks that aren't healthy, and a life that finally is.